my name is Rebecca and welcome to my channel. There is something very, very common in Southwest Missouri. They are called giraffe houses. I love the giraffe houses. They were built around the 1930s and they are still standing to this day. They are fabulous houses. They even built them up into the 1950s. So I thought that I would take that aesthetic and kind of add it into a front porch refresh. So come DIY with me. I started out at the Lowe's with some Valspar porch patio floor paint, 1 gallon of it. It was $39.98 and it is tintable. I chose the Western brown color because that would coordinate with my roof very well. And as you can see, my front porch is unrighteous. I did plant a couple of bushes in front of them, but they're not going to flourish and get taller for a few more years. And in the meantime, I just did not want to look at this front porch in the state that it was. My parents, when they moved here, there was carpet over this front porch. And when they took the carpet off, they were appalled to see that they had not finished the front of the porch out. The previous owners had just chose to cover it up. But carpet on a front porch is not so fabulous. And so my father took it off and then he painted it with some gray paint, but it was really starting to show its age. And it was, as my mother said, very ugly. So I'm taking the Western brown porch paint from Lowe's, the Valspar, it covers like a dream. And I'm just dabbing on the paint in random spots so that it looks like a giraffe house. And a giraffe house is something that's very native to Ozarkian culture. And they started building them in the 1900s, but they became very popular in the 1930s. They have very thick, light-colored mortar joints between the rocks, and the finished buildings look like the spots that would be on a giraffe's coat, hence the name. And a lot of people actually left the Ozarks during the Great Depression, and they did migrate into Kansas and Texas and Oklahoma, and they took this very budget-friendly style of building a home with them. But the giraffe houses are very deeply embedded into the Ozark culture. I previously owned a giraffe house and I loved that house. So I wanted to bring that aesthetic to the home that I'm living in now. I also knew that by using the giraffe style look with a painting technique that I could cover up some of the very unfortunate, very horrible concrete work that had been left on this existing front porch. Now, I am an Indiana-born girl. I love the state of Indiana. I have family there, but I have lived in the Ozarks for most of my life, and I love the Ozarks. When I am making short trips around the area that I live in and over into northwest Arkansas, I look at the foliage in the spring and the fall, and I truly believe that I live in the most gorgeous area of the world. And I cannot imagine living anywhere else. So the Ozark culture is deeply embedded into my soul, and I have grown up looking at these houses, seeing them, owning one. And I think that these giraffe houses were very well built. They are also very commonplace. So if you live in Southwest Missouri or Northwest Arkansas, then you are really not going to think anything about seeing a giraffe house on the daily. But I know other parts of the country that this is something that is just not common to see. Joplin did lose several of their older homes and a few of the giraffe-style houses during the tornado in 2011. But I came home from work, put on my paint clothes, and I did this porch in about 2 hours. I'm going to take the Heirloom Traditions paint, and I took a sponge brush and started just sponging areas in with the rest of the black paint that I had left over, and a little bit of the almond because you can use this paint on concrete as well. I sponged it over the little spots that I had made with the Western brown concrete paint, and it was absolutely gorgeous. The sun is really going down on me at this point, and so I did not get the top of my porch painted that evening. These are the paints that I had left over. I'm using a brush from the Dollar Tree. Nothing fancy. I don't use anything in my projects that cost a lot of money because I really do try to stick to a budget. The little roller that I'm using came from the Dollar Tree in a little paint pan set, along with the sponge brushes that I had used to make my faux Arkansas stone or faux limestone giraffe spots on the front of my porch. And I'm just going to take this little Dollar Tree roller and I'm going to roll the paint onto the top of my porch. Now, when I purchased that Heirloom Traditions paint, I spent $55. What came with that was one free sample and 2 colors of the 8-ounce. I also received some deglosser and an Heirloom Traditions sponge applicator that I'm going to use those 2 items on a different project, but I spent $55 on that bundle and then had a coupon for a free sample color. I'm telling you, I think that that was the best $55 that I have ever spent. I painted a bureau, a dresser, 2 nightstands. I mixed the paint, repainted my front door. I did that in all previous videos. And then what I had left over is what I used to make the details on the front of my porch. So if you're ever interested in a very good paint that will go a long way and do a lot of projects, I would check out Heirloom Traditions paint on their website. They're always running coupon codes and you can get a free sample to try. So I spent $39.98 plus tax on this front porch that so desperately needed to have a little makeover and have a refresh. And I'm telling you, it just changed the entire look of the front house and it added so much more curb appeal. I understand that the giraffe style paint treatment is probably not for everyone, but I'm just very partial to it, and it is exactly what I needed to really cover up the indiscretions of the previous owner when it came to this front porch. It did not take me very long at all. I spent 2 hours one evening and then I was able to cover the front porch in a couple of hours. I did put 2 coats of paint on the top of the porch just so that it would have a little bit of extra protection because, you know, that's where we step. And it turned out to be absolutely gorgeous. It really honestly makes my house look completely different, just covering up a little bit of that oh so sinful porch. This was one of those projects that I had on my list of things to do. I was so glad to move it to the completed list, but it took so very little time, took so very little money and materials that once I had it done, I could not believe that I had waited so long to do it, and it is stunning. So if you have that one project that's just hanging over your head and you're kind of dreading doing it, just get in there and get it done because you are going to be so filled with satisfaction and the job is going to look great. And once it's done, you're just going to wonder why you let that little project intimidate you to begin with. It is so gorgeous. It's so elevated from what it was, and I'm just in love with it. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell so that you know when I've uploaded my next video. Give me a thumbs up, comment, share. Let me know what budget-friendly home makeover you did to make your home a little bit more zhuzhed up for the upcoming winter season. Thank you so much for watching Crafts, Laughs, and Chaos.